Welcome back, friends, to another The City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnium video. Lidz87 here, and guys, we have something special going on today. So I am doing another Lidz Talk for Global, but today I have Forty the Broadway Saiyan. Say hello, 40.
How's it going, guys? Mahal to you guys. Thank you, Liz, for having me on this collaboration video to talk about. I believe we're talking about Lyse and Yshtola EX Plus, right, brother?
Of course, man, of course. So we got the new Arc 2, Chapter 6, second partner coming later on this week, December 19th UTC time, and the first multi-draw is going to be free. So technically, everyone's going to be pulling on this banner. Now, along with this, I got 40 here. We're going to be looking at the two characters here that Lyse is going to be coming out, and Yshtola will be getting EX Plus. The third unit is going to be Alice, I believe. Hold on, let me click over.
It's
Yes, it will.
Alice. Yeah.
LSA, but usually for me personally, the third unit usually to me doesn't matter unless you had their EX weapon, say
Mhm.
awesome, amazing. But of course, the grand prize here is going to be Lyse and Yshtola. So let's get into it, friends. Let's go. Let's get into the very first unit, Lyse. That she is a character from Final Fantasy 14, and in this game, she's essentially a melee support DPS attacking unit. So
Mhm.
her first ability is Elixir Field. Now, this is a 2-hit AoE melee, Brave plus HP attack. It does do splash damage to other units. She will grant herself max Brave up and small attack up to the party for 3 turns, which is pretty nice. Her second ability, Riddle of Fire. She will raise party Brave based on attack. So you guys are seeing what's going on here, right? She's a Brave battery, which is pretty sweet. Not really a lot of DPSs do that. I mean, there are some DPSs like Machina that can essentially give themselves Brave back, but Lyse here is giving Brave to the party, which is pretty nice. Now, she will grant herself Fist of Fire for 5 turns. Low action delayed and does not increase the turn count, but of course with it will decrease the friend support and summon action count. So while this Fist of Fire is active, her Riddle of Fire will turn into Fire Tackle, which again raises party Brave based on attack, 2-hit melee Brave plus HP attack, and deals 20% splash damage to non-targets. And Fist of Fire, when it is active, it will raise her own max Brave and attack, raises party int Brave, worry light anybody, and grants Brave regen to the party. Her additional ability, it will raise her attack for 3 turns and extends the duration of Fist of Fire by 3 turns. Now, we'll get into the EX ability once we start talking about her weapon. Now, I'm just going to go straight to the extensions, right? Because they're usually the important ones, except for
Mhm.
the 54, 58. All right, so her Elixir Field extension will increase the number of Brave hits by 5. She doesn't get an additional use, which is actually surprising. I just noticed that.
Yeah,
It's
she
very,
doesn't.
very strange. Of course, moderately raised Brave potency, stolen Brave 120%, extends the duration of max Brave up and attack up by 5. There's really nothing too special here. Nothing game breaking, just makes her hit harder, right? Uh,
Mhm.
58, moderately raised Imp Brave and attack while buffed. All right, so Riddle of Fire extension. There's a lot going on here. So the thing to take away from here, we got 2 additional uses. Extends the duration of Fist of Fire by 5 turns. No action delay. Just
Mhm.
more Brave hits, higher potency, 150% overflow. Now, when Fist of Fire is active, Brave Attack turns into Brave Attack Plus. More Brave hits, greater potency. HP Attack will go into HP Attack Plus, and she will raise her own Brave based on attack, followed by a 1-hit melee Brave plus HP attack, and she will deal HP splash damage to the other units. Now, hold on, let me just quickly go over her 15 and 35. Now, nothing special with her 15 CP weapon, just improves, hits harder, right? Her
Mhm.
35 CP raises Brave, gained. She gets more Brave back, improves the effects of Fist
Mhm.
of Fire, and her Fire Tackle will essentially do more damage and just more HP splash damage to all non-targets. All right, 40, what are your thoughts?
So she so one of her strengths that I like is she deals damage to multiple enemies. And later on, I guess we're going to be seeing a lot of chaos fights where some of the waves will have more than just one boss. So she's really good for that. She's a great wave clearer as well, which I think is really awesome that she's able to do that. And then I guess the biggest value that I get out of this character is because she kind of has that pseudo support role. what you could technically do is run her. So you could like run her. You could run like a true support, and your true support will be supplying you the brave, will be healing you. Will be removing status ailments or whatever it is they do, depending on who you take. And then you have Lyse, who could help deal damage alongside whoever else you take. But then at the same time, you can always fall back on her to provide that support. Like for example, she gives you that brave regen to the entire party. And let's not forget that brave regen comes from having Fist of Fire active on her, but she gives it to the rest of your party members as well. So they're benefiting off of it as an aura. So that's a little bit of sustainability right there. And then she has the Brave battery. So you could fall back on her as like a backup. So in a sense, she allows you to play a little bit more aggressively, allowing you to dump your HP attacks more, meaning you're dealing more damage quicker and you're getting closer, to achieving the turn requirement for some of these harder chaos stages. And then another thing, she's pretty turn efficient with her skill too, because I do like how it doesn't take up it doesn't take up a turn. It has no action delay, so that's pretty helpful. And then just the overall duration of her buffs is really good. So Fist of Fire lasts for 10 turns, which is really nice. So you're benefiting from that for 10 turns, and your party benefits from it too with that initial Brave up and the Brave regen. So overall, she's not bad. I do like how her first ability is actually AoE. So it's easier for her to actually cap out on that overflow, meaning she can dish out as much HP damage as possible. So I think the value in this character is, for me, is the AoE damage, on almost pretty much all of her abilities have that. And then her pseudo support, because it allows you to play a little bit more aggressively, allowing you to dump more HP, dump more brave into those HP attacks to deal more damage, in a quicker manner versus like, your standard setup. So that's the value that I see in Lyse.
Correct. Yeah, honestly, her kit, like me personally, my thoughts on her kit is I don't mind them. Just like you said, brave battery. Not a lot of DPSs do that. I mean, the big one that comes to mind is
Yeah.
Bart's, but he's a little outdated. But he should be
Yeah.
getting a rework on Ultimate Brothers, which should be soon. Should be soon.
Hmm.
So I personally don't mind her. I really don't mind her, but of course, DPS units, unfortunately, at the moment, there are a dime a dozen.
Right.
She'll be fine. But let's get into her EX weapon, which will be the deciding factor for a lot of people. Now, actually, before I get into it, actually we did have a slight discussion before we started recording about her Bloomstone passive. So we both pretty much came to the agreement that she doesn't really need it at first, since her
Hmm.
Fist of Fire does have allowed turns, 10 turns.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it'll just extend it by 2 additional turns. Well, on whatever. Hold on, give me a second. So
I think it's
3
like
turns
3.
for her
Yeah.
additional, so plus the 2 from the Bloomstone. So in 5 extra
Hmm.
turns, it could come in handy. Yeah, sure.
Hmm.
So I mean, if you guys have the extra Bloomstone, hey, go for it by all means. Now, her EX weapon, I actually do not know how to pronounce this. I think it's Jiki? Jiggy?
I'm gonna say it's Jiki.
Jiggy? Okay. So Jiki here is her EX ability and gives her access to the EX ability Brotherhood and the Forbidden Chakra. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is all from over on JP. Getting this information from the database. Of course, it is possible for any of these abilities to change over
Hmm.
on Global, and it will grant her the special effect Chakra Gauge. Now, of course, still the same here. She raised Brave based on attack. She won't grant herself Brotherhood for 6 turns. Brotherhood is her Frame buff, which has following effects. It will raise her own max Brave and attack, and increases Chakra Gauge by 1 when an ally uses an ability, except for additional abilities, and enhances Brave and HP attacks. And we will cover what this Chakra Gauge does in a moment. Well, it's actually right down here. Chakra Gauge increases by 1 after using an ability. Oh, that's just for herself also. Now, max, it stacks up to 5 times.
Hmm.
Now, we will get to that in a moment because it's actually a part of one of her limit breaks. Now, uh, what is it? Brotherhood and the Forbidden Chakra triggers the Forbidden Chakra afterwards. So it's a 5-hit AoE melee brave plus HP attack, raises brave damage, more brave damage dealt to single target, overflows 150%, splash damage, and extends Fist of Fire by 1 turn. So it's like getting a free turn for Fist of Fire, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Anytime she has Fist of Fire active, it just extends it by 1 more turn, so you're benefiting from it for an additional turn, which is nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Now
Yeah.
at 1-3, just more damage, nothing special. Now at 2-3, this is where it gets very, very interesting. So when Chakra Gauge is at 5, Her Brave Attack Plus turns into Purification. Now, raises her own Brave based on attack. No action delay, does not increase turn count, but it will standard decrease friend, support, and summon. This will consume her entire chakra gauge, but does not consume ability use on the next turn. So essentially, when you use Purification, she'll go right away again, and you can use either of her abilities for free, or her additional ability also. That's pretty strong in my personal opinion. 3-3, I mean, just slightly faster recast speed, but 40. What do you think about the 2-3? What do you think about her base EX weapon?
I mean, the 2-3 hits 3 things for me that are pretty incredible for a character to have. No action delay, no turn count increase, and a free ability usage next turn. So that's screaming longevity for me, which if you have this, which if you are going to be playing Lyse, you're probably going to want this weapon on her. It's definitely going to prolong her usage. It's going to prolong, how long she could be able to deal damage, how long she could, pseudo support your party. So that 2-3 is definitely the most impressive. One of the things that I like about the chakra gauge is it has a mechanic where your allies can actually contribute to it. Because, I mean, let's be real here. Stacking mechanics in this game, sometimes they get really annoying because it's like, oh, this character is so good when they're at 5 stacks or when they're at 3 stacks. At least with this one, very similar to Fran's debuff, where your other allies can actually influence where the stack is at. I like how they gave it that, because otherwise, if it didn't have that, it would just take so long to get, like, she would need to burn through so many abilities, because remember, the chakra gauge is only influenced by actual ability. So you can't use your additional ability. You can't use enhanced brave attacks, HP attacks, or base brave and HP attacks. So it has to be abilities. So imagine if your allies didn't influence that, then it would definitely lessen the usability of this weapon. But the fact that your allies do influence it is very valuable, from my personal opinion. So definitely very strong already, coming off just from the base version of it. And it goes up to what, a normal recast speed. So the recast speed, I mean, it's not incredibly fast, but it's fast enough to where you could benefit from this quite, fairly often, especially during a longer fight. So, overall, it's pretty good. I like it. If you're gonna play Lyse, you're gonna want this weapon. For
sure. Again, I also love the fact that they're bringing in the party to essentially help build up her stacks. And like other characters, like for example, Artemisia at the moment, you have to build up her stacks by herself for a few turns, and that takes forever. You know what I mean? And that really doesn't change until later on when she gets her LD weapon. Later down the line, you use that thing, full stacks, ready to go right off the bat, and then Artemisia becomes a good friend support unit. I've been seeing friend support unit Artemisias, and I'm like, no. Not yet.
I know.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet for global.
Not yet for global, guys.
Not until she gets her LD.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't even think Lyse would be a good friend support, right? Because, I mean, technically you would have to Purification, right? Into free ability. It's still wasting the friend support turn, so you really don't want that.
Friend unit. I wouldn't set her as your friend unit, but I mean, she definitely brings some nice things to the table if you decide to take her as a melee DPS pseudo support. She brings some nice things.
All right, so now let's take a look at her realized. I keep on calling him involved. I'm so used to evolved from over on JP.
I know.
So her realized EX weapon, Jiki Plus. Now at 0-3, just raises more brave damage dealt with criticals. At 1-3, tremendously raises brave potency. 2-3, slightly improves max brave up, attack up. And when the quest starts, she will grant herself Brotherhood for 6 turns. In my opinion, that's one of the more important ones, at least. And at 3-3, when using the Forbidding Chakra, moderately raises max brave over full limit. Her bonus sphere is actually a pretty good one. It's a D-type. When breaking target or attacking a broken target, raises party attack by 5% for 6 turns, which, I mean, we're breaking units left and right, so this can be even more support for her if you just throw it on her. That's
actually quite good.
That's pretty good, 5%.
And and most of her abilities hit AoE Brave, so I mean, you're definitely gonna be benefiting from that a lot if you decide to equip that sphere on Lyse alone. So.
Right, exactly. So.
Yeah.
Even more reason that she's a support, like you said, pseudo support melee character. Now, for me personally, I believe for her, for if you're going to invest in her EX Plus, right? Like we did mention earlier, DPSs, they're a dime a dozen. If Lyse is your
Mm-hmm.
favorite, you're going to be investing in her. She is a melee unit. If you really do like her, you're going all the way
Mm-hmm.
3 out of 3, hands down. If you need another type of melee unit, support melee unit, and you guys are hurting on ingots, you have to. I would say she at least needs 2 out of 3 if you guys are going to be using her, because
Mm-hmm.
right off the bat, when the quest starts, she gets access to Brotherhood, which then gives her access to the chakra gauge, which your other units can start helping her build that up, right? If I'm reading
Mm-hmm.
that correctly.
I believe she gets the chakra gauge already just having the weapon equipped. But I think the benefit is that she gets the max brave up and attack up from the Brotherhood. So then that
Right,
way she's hitting harder.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just just having that up, and with the allies being able to help her, and essentially she could get purification, free ability use,
Mm-hmm.
longevity. I just believe she at least needs 2 3 if you're going to be investing in her.
I agree. If you're gonna be taking her into like some of the harder chaoses later on, or harder dimensions end, they call it dimensions end for global. 2 out of 3 is where you want to be. Honestly, though, I almost want to say that try as possible if you're gonna really be taking her to like different party comps to get her 3 out of 3, because the percentages on the overflow from the 3 out of 3 is actually quite high. It's 200% at the base and 300% at the plus variant, and that's some pretty gnarly. That's some pretty gnarly high
That's a lot.
brave overflows there. So I almost want to say you might want a 3 out of 3, but 2 out of 3 is fair. If you have her 2 out of 3, that's definitely where you want her to be. If you're hurting on ingots, if you're trying to hold on to your stash for other future characters that you want to save up for and you want to build up their EX plus weapon.
Right, right. So,
Yeah.
all right, now to go on to the main prize actually on this banner. Now this character has been hyped up, right? She's
Hmm.
going to be really good with her rework and EX Plus, and it's going to be Yshtola. She was a chapter 1 character, right? Since the beginning.
Yeah,
We've had her
she was.
since the beginning of the game. She's
Uh
been
huh.
there for us, supporting us. So let me, for any newer players that essentially don't know what she is or what she does, let's quickly go over that. Now, she is also a Final Fantasy 14 character. She is
Hmm.
mainly a support, magic support type unit. Massive Brave
Hmm.
Batter. So, first ability, Stone, pretty simple. One hit Brave attack, delays target for 1 turn. Medica, she will raise own Brave by 20%, raises all allies Brave by 60% of users' current Brave. Her additional
Hmm.
ability, Brave Heal, raises own Brave based on max Brave. Her passive abilities, her 55 Stone Extend. Well, max use, it will increase the max use by 2, increase the Brave hits by 2, better
Hmm.
potency, 120% overflow, Brave regen, turn Stone to Stone Plus when her Brave is over 30% of her max Brave. Now, what Stone Plus does, it will raise Brave based on her Imp Brave before the Brave hits, and then it will also trigger an HP attack, and it does have a low action delay. Brave
Hmm.
turns Brave Attack into Brave Attack Plus after using Stone of Storm Plus, and it's just a one-hit magic Brave Attack that raises Brave based on Imp Brave. Pay attention, guys. Imp Brave. You're gonna be seeing that a lot. And her Medica 2 Extend raises Brave based on Imp Brave before applying Multiplier. Slightly raises the Brave Multiplier, grants medium max Brave up to all allies, and slightly raises Brave gain granted by Medica 2. Now for this one, it's her 58 is actually interesting. Raises party int brave and max brave by 10%. Warrior light. Anywho, and hold on, let me just take a quick look at her gear before we judge her abilities. Her 15 CP Thyrus increases stone's potency, inflicts small defense down for 1 turn, and her 35 CP Omni Rod raises Brave gain of Medica and grants small max Brave up 5. And I forgot that she has a Mannequin weapon. So if you do happen to have her Mannequin weapon, you have
Hmm.
the extra Power Stones. This will increase the Brave damage dealt with Stone and Stone Plus, and moderately raises the Brave gain by using Medica. I believe it was 40% of the units in Brave, or was it 60% for
I don't
Mannequin
remember off the top
weapons?
of my
It,
head,
it was a
but
good chunk though, for
it,
sure.
it for a character like this, it's nice to have.
Oh yeah.
If you have resources.
All right.
Yeah.
So 40, what do you think about her kit outside of her EX weapon?
So outside of her EX weapon, when she got the rework and everything, it definitely improved a lot of her issues. One of the things is I like what they did with the Stone Plus. because it hits harder. She has the overflow. It also grants the brave regen, which helped her out. What I still didn't like about it is that she needed to be at a specific max brave. And I know most of the time she is over that 30%, but there were some times where I'm like using her and I'm like, wait a minute, she's not at there. So then I would need to either spend my time either using Brave Attack Plus to build up her Brave or using another Medica. But other than that, like her rework fixed her problems. Her Medica 2, definitely increasing the multipliers on that helped her. Because the way that I saw her as a Brave battery was she was like a burst Brave battery because she batteried the party based on wherever her Brave was at. So she was essentially able to provide you with like an enormous amount of Brave. And I think one of the cool things that they fixed with Medica, because from what I remember correctly, beforehand, she didn't actually raise her Brave before she actually batteries the party. She just batteries the party from whatever percentage her Brave was at. But the fact that she actually batteries herself first means you're getting more Brave. So it improved her whole like burst Brave battery mechanic. So very solid rework. But really though, I mean, where she really shines is that EX weapon, which we're about to discuss right now. But overall, I mean, she's solid. The rework definitely made her a lot better, fixed her issues, and made her a bit more solid as a support unit.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Well, now that you mentioned the EX weapon, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. I'm trying to decide if we should cover the base first and then the evolved, or just do it all.
I would cover the base just as a review for people who might not be
All
familiar
right.
with Yshtola. Yeah.
Awesome. So again, for those of you that are not familiar with her EX weapon, we have had it before. It has repeated, and I
Mhm,
believe this will be the third time we are seeing it on global. Now,
mhm.
her EX ability is called Pulse of Life, restores all party members' HP based on own max HP, and revives your entire team. This could come in handy. I mean, of course, if you die, it's going to affect your score, but there are some situations where you'll just squeeze by the score by like this much. Now,
Mhm.
raises party Brave based on max Brave, grants max Brave up for 8 turns. Brave regen to self for 8 turns. Now, after using Pulse of Life, this is important. So, after
Mhm.
using Pulse of Life, Stone and Medica, her two abilities, will recover one use up to the initial value. So, every time you use her EX ability, you essentially recover one use of both of her abilities. Longevity. Oh my gosh, she has such amazing longevity. Now, this will also turn her HP attack into HP attack plus. Raises allies brave based on HP damage dealt. This is a nice brave dump that will also give your party members some brave back, which is pretty sweet. It does come in handy. That's come in so handy over on JP for me plenty of times. Now,
Mhm.
1-3 raises potency, uh, max brave up, brave regen. 2-3 slightly raises recast speed, and 3-3 moderately raises attack and speed. 40 thoughts on the base before we talk about
It's
the evolved.
it's powerful. I mean, just look at what it does. Medium max brave up to the party, so more HP damage right there. The brave region is nice for Yshtola, and the brave region actually complements that HP attack plus because what it does is if you don't want to waste stone, the brave region will she'll get a little bit of brave back, and then she'll actually use the HP attack plus depending on where her brave is at, and then she batteries the rest of your party members. So that's nice. And then obviously, the recovery for her skills, up to one use up to the initial values means that she's going to last much longer in combat. My only gripe is that recast speed. At full limit break base, it's at slow, and I know that's not very slow, but it's still really slow. That was like the biggest issue that I had with this EX weapon. And I think it's fair because it's so powerful, but that's for me that was the biggest drawback is that it's quite slow. Not as slow as Sync because Sync's is like terribly slow. I think she has like the slowest EX recharge that I've ever seen, but it's still quite slow, compared to some of the other ones. Which I think that's what hurts it. But other than that, it's quite good. I mean, it's what a support character should be doing, you know
Yeah, exactly.
keeping
It's,
them
it's
alive, you know,
brings
doing
back
all that cool stuff.
brings back units from the dead,
Yeah.
heals,
So,
a brave regen. It is quite powerful. But yeah, that slow. Even I think at her EX plus, which we will talk about in a second, I think it's still moderately slow. But all right, let's talk about her EX plus because this is what a lot of the viewers and players want to know about, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
upon realizing her EX weapon, so this will be into Amir plus. I didn't even say her EX weapon name. Amir. Amir.
Imor, I don't know.
Amir plus. So at 0-3, improves Brave regen, extends duration by 1, extends duration max Brave up, extends duration of HP plus. Now when the quest starts, grants Brave regen for 9 turns and fills the EX gauge to max. There's not really a lot of EX pluses that do that at 0-3. That's pretty rare. Usually they come like at 2-3, right?
That's
From
pretty good that it's at 0-3.
That's very good. Yeah, a lot of these,
Yeah.
like I believe Onion Knight, I think his is at 2-3. Also, once he gets his EX plus, right, like you can recharge, you get a free turn. We'll talk about that another day. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of units don't usually get that at 0-3. So that's right off the bat, you can use her EX
Mm-hmm.
weapon, EX ability, which is nice. Now at 1-3, uh, moderately raises max brave and attack. 2-3 slightly raises party max brave and moderately raises party attack. And at 3-3, this is where it gets very interesting. For Yshtola, you want this. You want this. She's an amazing support because of this. So it will slightly raise the recast speed of Pulse of Life. But when using Pulse of Life, no action delay, does not increase turn count, decrease, still standard, decrease friend support, and summon action count.
Mm-hmm.
Free turn. Free turn, guys. Free turn. And you get her EX ability right off the bat. Now, after using Pulse of Life, her HP Attack Plus will turn into HP Attack Plus, which she will still raise her Brave based on Int Brave before the HP Attack with 120% overflow. And this is another thing that they added on. Prevents KO if HP is at least 50% of max HP and leaves HP value at 1. So she can take fatal hits. So if let's say the enemy Brave, these bosses, their Brave is getting ridiculous, right? You got yourself in a pinch. It's targeting Yshtola. She's going to survive. She has an EX weapon. Don't use it. Wait until her turn comes back. Let her take the hit. Let her be at 1 HP. Then heal back up. You will be fine. I
Mm-hmm.
guess that's another way to Brave Shave because she really does Brave Shave. Now, her bonus sphere is Break Hit Brave Gain. When breaking target or attacking a broken target, raises Brave by 30% in Brave. That's not bad, right? That's
It's
okay.
decent.
That's
Yeah.
decent. So, um, 40. So what do you think of her EX Plus?
There's really no excuse to not 3-3 this girl.
No.
One of the things that I was noticing, because I was messing around with her earlier today on my JP account, because I have her 3-3'd, is that when you open up with her Pulse of Life right off the bat at 3 out of 3, fully realized and all that good stuff, right? The Brave regen helps her Brave get to a specific amount to where she will almost pretty much always have Stone Plus active. Not only that, but that HP Attack Plus Plus. I was talking about the HP Attack Plus, but the Plus Plus is even better because it allows her to dump it allows her to dump a fairly decent amount of HP attack damage on the target. And not only that, but it can also Brave Overflow, and she gives Brave back to your entire party. So her longevity was already good, and now it's even significantly better. And let's not forget, 3 out of 3 also raises that really slow recast speed. So it went from very slow to slow, and then all the way up to, I believe it's slightly slow. So it's still not the fastest, but it's definitely faster. So you could rely on this a little bit more often. So it pushes her usability through the roof as far as being a support. And let's not forget, the stone has the delay. So if you need somebody that could delay for 1 turn, this is your girl right here. So definitely worth it. Definitely the prize on this banner. Um, thank God we get a free multi from this. So then that way players can pull on it first before deciding if they want to either EX token it or invest tickets or gems or whatnot. But it's definitely the prize on the banner because I mean, you agree with me on this, Lids.
Of course.
Support is the most important role in chaos because keeping your party alive and keeping your party topped up is what's gonna make or break you during the chaos era. Actually, I mean, JP's still on chaos right now, and I would still say support is, definitely one of the more important roles. I mean, right now JP has like burst and all that and some crazy shenanigans, but still, you can't go wrong with a good support character. You know.
Not
So
not not at all. Not at all. And speaking of Yshtola, I know over on JP what I used to do, like when the fights used to start. I also have her 3 out of 3. I've had her three
Hmm.
out of three since she got her EX plus. So usually what I like to do is I like to like Medica 2 to give the party some brave, help with those trash waves. Use Stone Plus at some point, and then use her Pulse of Life. Or you're essentially getting uh, free abilities because you use your abilities, but then you use your EX weapon, you get them right back. So you're already topped off right off the bat, so you can use them right away,
Hmm.
which is great. Now another combo actually that I love doing was I know Yshtola came out, and then Tifa
Hmm.
got her rework in EX Plus. Now, one thing to keep in mind, guys, is that Medica 2, it still has turn delay. There's no, it's not a free turn. There's no action delay. You know what I mean? So if you use Medica 2, that's it for her turn. She will lose it. But if there are units like, for example, when Tifa, when she gets her EX Plus, she becomes really strong.
Hmm.
Tifa does a lot of damage. So what I used to like to do over on JP is Medica into Tifa's EX Plus, because then Tifa will delay the target. She does her essentially a punch rush into her Dolphin Blow. Man, it's a
Hmm.
lot of chase damage. Holy crap, it's a lot of chase damage.
Hmm.
That was pretty sweet. Now, actually, I forgot to mention this over for Lyse in regards to artifact passives. Now, I guess I just want
Hmm.
to quickly go over for Lyse. Now, for her, what are we looking at? Attack, C50, and Max Brave?
I would say attack C50 Max Brave because I mean
Okay.
her C50 raises her attack in Max Brave while Fist of Fire is active, which I mean you will have that active if you're gonna play as Lyse. So I'd say attack 108, C50 2-star, and then Max Brave plus 330 is also a pretty good option as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love when units have, at least they have a C50, because if there are some units that don't have a C50 and you're just trying to hunt for attack 108 and max brave 330, the RNG isn't that kind.
Yeah,
At least this
it's
way you have
not.
a third option, just in case something
Yeah,
pops up. Speaking about a third option, unfortunately for Yshtola here with her artifact passives, she really doesn't have like
no.
a C50 or anything. So for her, you want Int Brave and Max
Hmm.
Brave, but again, RNG is not that kind. So we were
Hmm.
actually talking about this earlier, and we could see you guys potentially picking up a Mighty Stone. Again,
Hmm.
don't ream us out on this, but that we all know RNG isn't kind, especially when chasing artifacts. Oh, it's a pain in the
Yeah,
ass. It's a real pain. So I guess Mighty Stone is
definitely.
an option just to help her essentially Brave Shade just a little bit more, because she's really not a Brave Shaver. Not at all.
I mean, Attack 108 could benefit it since her
Yeah,
main brave shaving option is her stone plus.
true.
So that could help her. I mean, having it is not terrible. It's
No.
decent,
Yeah.
you know.
So
But yeah,
kind of wish she had a
I
C50.
did too.
But
I some of the earlier characters don't have that, so
no, who has the bad one? Steiner? Ugh, never mind. We'll get into Steiner at another time. All right. Anywho,
yeah.
so on this banner, of course, the main important question is: should you pull? That depends. It
Hmm.
actually depends. Yshtola, she is the main prize. She is the main prize for this banner. But there's a few things to consider. First of all, is that we have EX tokens from Dimensions End. As soon as you essentially
Hmm.
complete the normal difficulty one, you get 10 EX
Hmm.
tokens where you can select an EX weapon of your choice from the main protagonist of this game.
Hmm.
And Ystola's on there actually.
Hmm.
And also keep in mind, before you do that, the first multi-draw will be for free. I've already mentioned this
Yep.
earlier. The first multi-draw is free, so it's potential that you guys could potentially pull either of these units EX
Hmm.
weapons. Aside from that, let's say you already used your EX tokens, and if you didn't get anything from the free multi draw, I would say Yshtola is worth the chase, because I don't think she repeats anytime soon.
I
I
don't
don't think she
remember
hasn't
any
repeated yet.
time. Yeah, and I don't recall her EX weapon repeating on. Although to add to that, the cool thing though is at least because her EX weapon is available in that token shop and it's a permanent one, I know there's going to be other ways later on for us to earn those tokens from different events. Like I know JP started doing those, those special co-ops with like the giant cactuar or something, and you get to earn like like 2 tokens a day, and you can exchange those um, at the store for like I think it's like 1 gold 1 token for the EX
I
token
think
shop.
so.
Yeah, so I mean it's always gonna be there. as an option for you to earn it for free. But if you want to pull for it, like Liz was saying, Yshtola's is the prize, definitely the prize. But cross your fingers that if you don't have it and you already use your EX tokens, that hopefully you get it on the free multi, because that would be great. But I would say throwing a little bit of, I would say throwing a few gems and throwing some tickets for Yshtola if you didn't get it from the EX token shop would be fair, because she's definitely a very strong support, like we just talked about. But it's a good thing that her EX weapon is a little bit more accessible compared to some of the other ones.
Right, exactly. And honestly, at least say like she's not bad at all. Like
No.
like I think people are just gonna
Yeah.
write her off like whatever, unless like you're a fave, or I mean she's an adorable looking individual. So waifu material you could go for her, but
Hmm.
other than that, I don't think people will really see that she's all right. Like again, at the moment, DPSs they will come and go, but we need to get there in the first place. And we
Right.
actually just found out earlier that on global we there was a notification telling us that essentially the next dimensions end, we're going to be getting 5 tiers of chaos. That didn't
It's
happen
crazy.
right off the bat over on JP. So how that worked over on JP was that they gave us essentially what was it, like one chaos a month. I want to say for FEOD, right? Hello, 40.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, welcome back.
I'm here.
um,
Yeah.
did you happen to hear?
Yeah. No, I did.
Okay.
It was once a month. So I think it's a little insane that they're giving us the first 5 floors right off the bat, unless of course it could be different and it
Yeah.
could be another global exclusive, but I highly doubt they're going to do that at this point. I think they're just going to give us the real one. But I mean, the first 5 floors is kind of it gives us more content to do. I will admit it's slightly overwhelming because um it was nice to be able to do, one per month, so then that way you could kind of prepare the rest of your cast, for the for the future FEODs. But at the same time, I don't know if you guys saw the news too, but Global's getting something early again called Wild Points, which JP didn't get until way later. So that could help mitigate the whole like, oh, I need to farm up so hard for these other characters to build them up for these specific dimensions end, because now we have access to that, which will make farming your summon board farming life a whole lot easier.
Right.
I guess
Exactly.
it balances it out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, that's still, man, grinding boards on JP. I'm sorry, on global, it's a pain, but we gotta do it. I love that we're getting these wild points a lot sooner.
Hmm.
Um, I guess quick recap. Now I know we're getting a little off topic from this arc chapter, but essentially what wild points are, it's like you're farming summon board points for a fourth unit, so to say. Now they are not boosted by super synergy, the 2 times
Hmm.
multiplier. They will be boosted by either your books or your tomes of experience. So 2 times blue book or the 3 times blue book, and they can be used for on any character. Any character can use those wild points, but they can only be used for boards that you farmed them on. So, for example, if you
Hmm.
farmed boards, if you were farming points on Ultimate Ifrit and you get wild
Hmm.
points there, you cannot use those wild points on a Shiva board, so to say. So,
Hmm.
it's nice, it's great, it's gonna speed up the process, so to say. But yeah, that's really gonna help out max out these characters a lot faster,
Hmm.
because now that we're getting a lot of EX plus units, like two per banner. And if we
Yeah.
haven't, especially for new players, I'm sorry, it's a pain in the ass to farm that up. I'm not gonna, it's a pain
Hmm.
and it's slow. So just having
Yeah.
that up. All right. So do we have any final thoughts for this arc 2 chapter 6? This banner. Do you have any final things to say about Yshtola or Lyse?
Yshtola is the prize, guys. If you want more support, or if you just want to have another support unit handy for a future chaos stage, build up Yshtola. She's going to be worth your time, and her EX weapon is a bit more accessible compared to some of the other EX weapons we've seen. Lyse is more of a favorite pull. She's not bad. She's actually, I feel like she's underrated, and she does things that other melee DPS doesn't do. It's just that most players will not necessarily need her. She's not a need. She's more so, oh, it's nice to have her, but she's not absolutely necessary. But she's chaos viable. And then overall, just enjoy this Act 2, Chapter 6, because if you guys are Final Fantasy 14 fans, the story actually pays homage to the Stormblood portion of Final Fantasy 14. So it's going to be nice for you guys to go through this chapter and just kind of see how the story plays out as it pays homage to Final Fantasy 14 Stormblood. So yeah, very, very cool, very exciting times for global DFFOO.
All right, looking forward to all the content. All right,
Yeah,
friends. So
definitely.
that is it for this video, friends. It's a little lengthy, but I am honored to have 40 the Broadway Saiyan here do this collaboration talking about Arc 2, Chapter 6, about the amazing Yshtola EX Plus. Lyse, she's still good, but of course, Yshtola is going to be the main prize. So be sure to
Hmm.
sound off in the comments, friends, what you guys thoughts. Are you guys going to pull? Are you guys going to skip? Could you care less? Waifu, all that wonderful stuff. Be sure to check out all of 40's links down below in the description. I will put them there to his YouTube, his Twitter, his Twitch. All that wonderful stuff will be down below in the description. All right, friends. So until next time, good luck and have a good one.